Hey guys, my name is Chantel. Welcome back to my channel and thanks for hanging out with me today. So today we're going to talk about Haikyuu chapter 400, and just like last week's video, we are going to be talking about it, or I'm going to be talking about it as I do my makeup. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of this video. So let's go ahead and get to it. Alright you guys, chapter 400 of Haikyuu. We are here at the big 400. I guess before I really say my thoughts on this week's chapter, I just want to let you guys know I'm looking at this on my phone as we speak, just so I can get the information right. But it looks like chapter 401 and chapter 402 will receive opening color pages along with an increased page count. So just from that, we are basically going to get color pages and longer chapters for the next two chapters. And honestly, just like everyone else on Twitter, I'm very nervous and very scared, because if they have to be longer, does that mean we're getting like extremely close to seeing Haikyuu officially ending? Like, I don't want it to end just yet, but it's gonna come sooner or later, and I'm a little sad. So I'm not gonna dive into all that sappy stuff just yet until Haikyuu officially ends. Then I will gladly do a huge giant video just laying out my feelings and stuff. So I guess look forward to that. Anywho, I guess let's just go ahead and dive into this week's chapter. There's a lot that I kind of want to say. I feel like this video is gonna end up being short regardless, but I just wanna like let out my thoughts. If not, I feel like I'm gonna go crazy if I don't like let out my thoughts somehow. So this week's chapter basically starts off where we last left off, with Kageyama about to serve, and Hinata, it looked like he kind of knew probably where the ball was gonna go, and we get to see like Hinata's point of view at this point, and he looks terrified when he sees Kageyama smile. And man, like that was a really cool like panel, like when you see like Kageyama's face in the background of, like, not background but behind Hinata, and Hinata's just like, oh, you know, like even he got the chills. But he for sure knew where the ball was probably gonna be headed towards, and we have I think his name is Inokai. He's the one that's able to receive the ball, and you know, the match is still very, very, very much intense, and I feel like it flew by really, really quick. But like I said in my last video, I feel like when it's chapters focusing on on the match itself, like it just goes by a lot quicker for me as I'm like reading through, because you're just like kind of looking at it, reading here and there. And yeah, so I think that's why it goes by so quick, but at the same time I'm like, that's it, you know? Anyway, both teams are clearly trying their best and hardest during this game and giving it everything that they've got. And there was a moment in this game that had me like, you know, smiling so much. Is because I got to see Sasuke smile. Like, we got to see that. Like, he was basically saying, you know, I don't have time to feel like icky and gross, or like, you know, worry about anything else. He says, you know, it feels really good here, and I'm like, oh, you can see his smile, like it's so cute. I want to see Sasuke smile more, because that was just too precious. And right after this, that's when we get to see the banner behind Sasuke, which was basically from his high school. And I was like, wait a minute, like what's happening right now? Like, it was such a cool visual that, like, just seeing it, I was just like, oh my gosh, like that's really, really cool. And I'll be honest, I didn't think too much of it, other than, you know, it was pretty cool. And it wasn't until I saw Bokuto with his banner back from Fukurodani, and this is where I completely lost it. This is where I started crying. Like, I kid you not, I had to put my phone down because I just couldn't stop the tears coming. Like, I was like genuinely crying, and I just like had my eyes like this, and I had just woken up, so yeah. So I was just overwhelmed with emotion, like reading what the banner says and then thinking about how Bokuto is. I'm like, that banner is literally this boy. Everything in his entire being, like, he embodies what that banner says so perfectly, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like, thinking about it now, I still want to like cry and tear up. And that's when I started to really notice like each of the banners, what they say, and how it connects to the boys. And it made me even more emotional because I was like, oh my god, like what is this? Like, the fact that these boys grew up to being what these banners say, like there's still some hints of them from their high school, like basically like hints of them of like overall like what they have learned throughout this whole time in their lives, especially like in high school. I feel like their high school days is like what really impacted them the most, because that's where they, well, us specifically, that's where we get to see how much they've grown and what like struggles they've gone through, gotten to learn about their backstories and stuff like that, and how they've overcome their struggles to right here, right now, in this very moment, what we're seeing. The Fukurodani banner basically says, I have it here because like I can't remember every single detail, right? But it says, give each play your all. And like, how perfect is that for Bokuto? That is exactly what he does when he's out in the court. He like gives it his all the time, 100%. And we've clearly have seen that throughout this journey that is Haikyu. Like we've seen it. Like we've been a part of this journey, so I feel like as a reader, like we know like everything that this boy has gone through. And yeah, like I feel like at this point I'm just repeating myself, so I'm just gonna end my thought on Bokuto there. But he was playing really good. Like I said, like the match itself was really, really intense. And I like how it looked like he was going for his Bokuto beam, and instead like he like lightly taps it from what it looks like. And you know, Bokuto did such a good job, man. Like I love him so much. I also like that in that moment too, we have Akashi and the Fukurodani boys like cheering him on, and they're like, world, are you watching our ace? And I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't know, like the tears would not stop coming at this point. I was just like, oh my god, like what is happening? Like it was just really, really emotional. But probably because Bokuto is like my favorite character too, so that just adds more to the emotion, but still, you know? And then after this we get a little bit of focus on Ushiwaka. Like we get to see like when he's about to hit the ball and stuff, and it looks really, really intense. And once he hits the ball and we see it go through, that's when we see his banner back from Shiratorizawa. And what does it say? It says, be strong, which is exactly what Ushiwaka is and what he's known for. It's just like, damn it, man, like damn it. And next up on the list that we get to see like a little bit of focus on, well, specifically when it comes to the banner, is Atsumu. So Atsumu is looking ready to like give the ball to someone, like, you know, he's a setter as he should. We see Hinata going for a jump, and I was like, oh my gosh, are they gonna give it to Hinata? Is he gonna give it to Hinata? Because that would be really, really cool if he did that. And sure enough, but at the same time I was like, I don't think he's gonna give it to Hinata. I think Hinata's just doing it as like, you know, because he's known as a decoy, so I feel like he's just doing that for show and to, you know, help out his team. But that wasn't the case, because Hinata is like, give it to me. And Atsumu like, are you serious? And of course Atsumu is like all for it, and he gives the ball to Hinata. But even though Atsumu is like, are you serious? Like, you can tell he's excited about this. And I'm like, ah! And somebody on Twitter pointed this out, like parallels between like a few chapters ago during the Komarai match, and how Atsumu was like, man, Tobio, like he says something, like if I can find it, I'll put it here. If I can't, then yeah. But it was like the time when he was watching the Komenai match and he was commenting on the stuff that was happening. And but I remember him being like, I could probably do that too. Like, I can do it. And here we are, like, a few years later, in this moment, he's doing the same thing. And it's just... I really don't want to cry because then I'm just gonna, like, cry off my makeup. But this moment is also when we start to see Atsumu with his banner from Inarizaki, which is, you know, who needs memories. And I'm just like... And as Hinata's getting ready to hit the ball, we see, like, in Hinata's eyes, like, he can see clearly, like, where the blockers are at and everything, like, you know, like how we always seen with Hinata. And the ball, sure enough, goes through. And then from there, the match just starts getting even crazier. They're, like, trying to, like, gain a point, win back a point, and, like, just, like, going back and forth, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like, who is gonna win? Who's gonna take that point? Like... And I really felt like Suga at this point, because Suga is like in the stands and like he doesn't know who to cheer for at this point. And I'm like, you know what? Same. That's honestly how I'm feeling, especially with getting like all of these characters' backstories, like, and you know, with them adding like more depth to the character. I'm like, you know what? Like, I really don't know either at this point, because I thought I was like full on Black Jackals all the way, but now I'm like, I don't know anymore. But again, I think it's also because like I'm able to appreciate these characters a lot more now than I did so before. And now I'm like, well, shit, you know? And this is also another part where I was, again, crying all over again, which was when Kageyama says, I'll take you on as many times as it takes. And then we see the Kurasano banner, which is fly, and we see Kageyama and Hinata, and I'm just like... Like, despite them being on different teams, they are who they are because of their time with Kurasano and the time that these two have spent together, but like regardless of them being on different teams, it's because they had each other as well, and they're able to be on this court right here in this moment. Like, who would have thought I would be crying over high school banners in Haikyuu? Like, if you told me that like months ago, I wouldn't have believed you. And you know, here I am now crying over these banners, which is basically the gist of all that happens in this week's chapter. And now we wait until next week to see what happens next, who's gonna get the next point and stuff. Like, I'm overall really nervous to see how this match is gonna turn out. Like, it's been such a fun ride and so exciting from start to finish, and I'm not ready to see it end. And I know we're getting there, I know we are, and it's just, I just don't want to let go of Haikyuu just yet, you know? Especially because Haikyuu has been such a huge part in my life that I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself, man. But like I said, it's too early to get sappy, and I will save those thoughts for later, which brings us to the end of my video. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off these Mickey ears and say my outro, because I think I've said what I wanted to say. So yeah, let's just get some editing magic, and voila, I am all done with my makeup. And that brings us to the end of the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed my ramblings. As always, it's just me letting out my thoughts. I know they're all over the place. I feel like I'm not the best at this, but you know, they're my thoughts. I'm just, you know, doing it how I would normally talk to my friends. So, you know, I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!